had the main crash February, the international there, and yeah, after 6 weeks I got told, if I really wanted to race, it would be safe to. So I raced Ling, and that went alright. But at that stage, I've got a plate in one of the bones, the big bone in my forearm, which is all will always stay in. But then I had a wire in the smaller bone, which had to come out after 8 weeks. And the week after Ling, I was at the 7-week mark, and they said, yeah, we'll take it out. And yeah, he basically said when he operated on it, he said that it looked like the bones was healing pretty good. He obviously could see it all, and he said, in a week's time, once the stitches have all sort of healed up or whatever, you can start to ride again. So I did, and I rode 4 times on the bike before Cad Heights, and that went alright. Really, it wasn't too bad. But just in the last race, I was quite ill anyway, but in the last race on the sighting lap, I sort of said to my mechanic, it's a little bit sore, so I'll probably just go a bit steady. And then the next week, I had the flu really bad, and so when you have the flu, everything really aches and hurts, it's exaggerated. And then I had an x-ray, and it just showed that the smaller bone of the two that they'd take the wire out of was basically broken again. So yeah, I was obviously gutted straight away, and they basically said, I can either have to let it heal for 4 weeks, or have an operation where they put a bone graft and some more like a plate and some screws in there. So, and obviously if I had that done, it was going to be minimum sort of 6 weeks out. So I took the decision obviously to not have the operation, but to give it 4 weeks, and now here I am. This is the third day I've had to go on a bike, and arm feels alright. It still doesn't feel, it doesn't feel great yet, but I've been told that it's safe to ride, and I'm just fed up of not riding basically. Yeah. But the frustrating thing is, a lot of people say, well, it's stupid to come back, so early. But I've done everything that I've been told to do. I've never gone against doctors' orders or whatever. So yeah, frustrating time really.
So are you going to be 100% with your arm at some point this year, or is it something that's you're going to have to fix in the off season?
At the minute, I really don't know. Like, I had an X-ray last week and it looked pretty good, but it still wasn't obviously completely healed, because bones take like 18 months to completely heal. But it looked pretty good, but it still just doesn't feel right the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd like to say that come Blacksall, in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whenever it is, I'll be all right. Just fitness-wise, I've kept my fitness up and stuff, but obviously I haven't got that much bike time in. But yeah, I mean, if my wrist was all right, I'd hope by Blacksall British Championship round I'd be all right. But I can see it sort of dragging out for most of the year, I think.
So Blacksall's going to be your first race back?
I would imagine so, yeah. I would imagine so. I mean, the team would like me to race Germany the weekend before, but the way my wrist is looking at the minute, I'm just having to do a little bit of riding here and there. So, and I don't really want to go to a Grand Prix and be 90% British Championship. You can kind of get away with it a little bit. You still get exposed, and that's no disrespect to the riders. But at best, I've had my best result this year is a 5th place, and last year, I showed I was 2nd place all along. So I've got backwards, but you can kind of get away with it at British Championship. But at Grand Prix, you've got 30 riders or whatever that are all pretty much on the same level. So I'll be at the back of the pack if I'm not right. So.
Are you a little apprehensive about returning to the GPs? Obviously it's been a year now since you lined up at one of them.
Pretty much, yeah. It's literally 2 weeks off being 12 months. So just not apprehensive really, I just want to be there. I'm sick of not being there. That's more to it, and just can't wait to get on the roll of things, because once you get in there, Grand Prix, British Championship Grand Prix, and next thing you know, it's the end of the season. That's what I miss. I'm sick of being on the sidelines, not being a part of it, not racing.
And finally, is it a contract year for you? How's the team been through all of this?
Yeah, it's I've only been on a 1-year contract, same as last year. So again, that's desperate times, I guess you could say. But the team have been really good. Steve Turner's been absolutely brilliant with me, really, just ringing me up every now and again, but giving me my space at the same time, because he knows that I'm a bit, when I'm not so happy with things, like obviously with my injury or whatever, that I don't really want to speak to people every 5 minutes, and he's given me my space, but at the same time sort of kept an eye on things, and he's never once put any pressure on me, because I think he knows how hard I try and how much I want to be back racing. So it's not a matter of that, it's just a matter of getting my arm right. And he's just texted me a minute ago saying, how is your arm? And just sort of said, it's pretty good, but I can't tell you when I'll be back racing. He's just desperate to have me back, as well as, you know, if any of his riders were out, you know, he wants free riders. That's what he's paid for, and that's what he wants. So.